I guess the first thing that you will find is that in Mexico, there are a whole bunch of Mexicans. I mean, it's crazy the amount of Mexicans that you'll find. And I'm willing to bet that there are more Mexicans in Mexico than any other country in the world. I cannot be a 100% American. Even though I was born here in San Antonio, in Baxter County, well, guess what? The accent. I cannot be 100% American. And if I go to Mexico, they could tell that I'm not a full-blooded Mexican from the state of Coahuila. They can tell by the way I dress, the way my accent. So I feel like I'm not from there, but I'm not from here. You know what I'm saying? I feel then, where am I from? And what's another surprise that you will find if you visit my country, Mexico? The majority of the people, the highest percentage of the Mexican people, they do not speak English. They speak Spanish. That's another surprise. Also, the money, it's not dollars, it's pesos. Hey, that's a few surprises that kind of took me. Another thing, I never figured out how many. I mean, I know that for $1 you get like a whole bunch of pesos. I mean, and you can buy a whole bunch of stuff with $1. That I know. So yeah, the food, the rent, the elotes, which is the corn on the cob, the tacos, the candy, everything is cheaper in Mexico. Like if you take dollars in Mexico, man, you can buy a whole bunch of stuff than if you were here in the United States. You know what I'm saying? Also, the color of the skin, it's darker in Mexico than most of the Americans here. You know, I guess because they are like further south, you know, maybe they're closer to the sun, and maybe I don't know, maybe they get burned more. I don't know. That's something that I need to find out. Probably ask my mom what happened to me. Also, most people in Mexico, they have brown eyes. They don't have green eyes or blue eyes. I'm talking about the majority of the people. You know, these surprises that I don't want you to panic when you go to Mexico. The flag is different. The music is different. Most of the music in Mexico, it's in Spanish. They don't have country. They have cumbia. That's another difference that you will find. Television is not in English. And also I remember when I was here in the States, we had a Spanish teacher. In Mexico, all the teachers are Spanish. Yeah, like in the United States, the Spanish teacher is American, right? Mr. Brown, he was my teacher. And in Mexico, the teacher, the English teacher, he's Mexican. Mr. Arturo. That was my teacher, my English teacher in Mexico. This is why I was the smartest student in English class in Mexico. This is what I did for extra credit. Once upon a time, a little mariposita fly in the garden. Of repent she azote. Ajijo, she dijo, tan estúpida I am. I forgot to open my alitas. And of course, if you're late, you have to greet him like this. Good morning, teacher. May I come in? So that's, and now in America, when you're in the Spanish class, and which I took it because I didn't have a free period, and so I took Spanish because I could do Spanish. So, and if you were late in the English class, you would say, Buenos dias, maestro, ¿puedo entrar? That's the way it is. A house in Mexico is casa. And so in the United States, if you're reading a book and a dog barks, the dog in America barks woof, woof. But if you're reading like a funny revista or magazine in Mexico, the dogs in Mexico go guau, guau. So even that is different. You know, the dogs in Mexico, they bark in Spanish. Guau, guau versus woof, woof. That's weird. Oh, and football in Mexico, it's soccer. Cornflakes is cornflakes. Facebook is Facebook. YouTube, YouTube. So even if you use a word in English in Mexico, you have to roll your eyes. For example, I went to the store and I asked the guy, me da un Red Bull. Can you give me, can I have a Red Bull? Me da un Red Bull. And the guy went, what? I said, un Red Bull. He didn't understand me. So I said, me da un Red Bull. Oh, sí, aquí está. Here it is. Okay, thank you. Please. While I was in Mexico, it was Clint Eastwood week. So they were announcing the movies, right? Of course in Spanish, and I understood. But I said, hey, Clint Eastwood, English movie. So what I did, I when they announced the movie, I went and got me some tacos. I got some lunches. I got three gancitos, two Fantas, and I got some fritos, and because I was gonna watch a movie. Guess which movie? El Bueno, El Malo, y El Feo. The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. That was one of the movies that they were showing at that time. And you know the part where Clint Eastwood goes, go ahead, make my day. In Spanish, Clint Eastwood was talking Spanish and he said, adelante, haz mi día. That didn't sound right. And then I was watching the movie where the Native American Indian, I think it was the outlaw, Joyce C. Wales, El Fuera de la Ley, Jose Wallace. And so where the scene where the Native American pulls out the candy and he says, well, I got a piece of candy, but it's not for eating. It's just for looking through. That part in Spanish, he says, tengo un dulce, pero no es para comerlo, es solamente para mirarlo. That's it, man. I turned the TV off, and after I ate all the food, and I just went out. So yeah, this video is just to tell you a few of the surprises that you may encounter in Mexico. Of course, it's kind of just to prepare you, when you go to Mexico. It's not Mexico, it's Mexico. Even though it has that X, we don't pronounce it, it's Mexico. In the schools in Mexico, they don't give you breakfast. You have to take your own breakfast. They don't give you lunch, and also we don't have, athletics or PE, it's almost non-existent in Mexico. Another difference that you will find, if you take your own car and you run out of gas, you go to the gas station, you don't pump your own gas. They pump the gas for you. We have no public library where you can go. Well, at least we didn't have one when I was young. And they do have McDonald's though, but it doesn't taste the same. And I'll tell you something about McDonald's. You cannot get any refills. Once they give you your Coke, that's it, papa. You're out of there. You cannot get refills in Mexico. We don't have any buffets in Mexico. I don't remember ever when I was growing in Mexico having a buffet. More than 50% in my hometown have an outhouse, So I never knew about a toilet when I was growing up in Mexico. We had an outhouse. And so what you do, we didn't even have toilet paper, so we would take newspaper or whatever. And I remember we get a piece of like this, get a piece of paper, and put the fire, and you get to the outhouse, you open the door, and that hole, and you see that hole right there, you go under there, and with the fire on, just kind of go around it like this, under that hole, to kill the spiders, because you don't want a black widow to bite you. And let me tell you a little bit of difference when I came into the United States and I was trying to learn English. For example, if you go to Mexico, if you're in Mexico and you go to the store and you tell the store owner, is this good for roaches? He's gonna say, no, it's not good for roaches. It kills them. But in America, you can say, is this good for roaches? Oh, yes, yes, that's good for roaches. That's what I encountered when I was here. And let me tell you about my first job in the U.S. I was in Carrizo Springs, Texas. Okay, my first job was at a fast food place. They sold milkshakes and avocado burgers, and I would just run errands. So the guy told me, "Can you go to the store and get me a gallon of milk? And if they have avocados, get me 6." I went to the store, they had avocados, so I got 6 gallons of milk. I got fired. See, that's the problem with the English and the Mexican language. You really have to specify. You know, you told me, get me 1 gallon of milk. And if they have avocados, get me 6. They had avocados and I got 6 gallons of milk. I was fired. That was my second day. They still pay me. It was probably like $20. It was my first check. I was happy though. While I was in Mexico, of course, I had some sad news. My brother-in-law, while I was in Mexico, he fell into this heavy depression. And sadly to say, you know, he put a bullet in his forehead. And, you know, I'm gonna show you the picture. And then I think that's gonna be it for this video, because it's kind of hard for me. You can really see the bullet right there in his forehead, and it was sad because we ran out of Scotch tape. We couldn't use it anymore to wrap presents. So this is the last fact that I want to tell you about Mexico. 72% of men in Mexico suffer from obesity. Obesity is, they suffer from being fat in Mexico. The remaining 28%, they are obese too, but they don't suffer. They eat anything you give them, they just don't care.